Julia Maina, a resident of the picturesque town of Stary Sokol in Russia, never imagined her life would be transformed by a small, fluffy kitten she decided to bring home one winter evening. At first, the kitten appeared like any other, tiny, playful, and full of energy. But there was something special about this particular kitten. He was a Maine Coon named Kafia, a breed renowned for its impressive size and distinguished, almost lion-like appearance. Julia fell in love instantly, charmed by his pure white coat, which sparkled like fresh snow. Still, it would be months before she realized just how remarkable Kafia was destined to become. As Kafia grew, Julia quickly noticed that he was not like her other cats. His appetite was insatiable, and he began outgrowing his food bowls at an astonishing rate. Every few weeks, Julia would buy larger bowls, only for Kafia to surpass them within no time. His paws seemed larger than expected for a kitten, hinting at the majestic form he would one day achieve. By the time he was just under 2 years old, Kafia had blossomed into a true gentle giant, weighing an astounding 27.5 pounds. For perspective, this was heavier than many small dog breeds, including the Shiba Inu, which typically weighs between 20 to 26 pounds. Julia's neighbors couldn't believe their eyes whenever she took Kafia out for walks. Passersby would often stop in their tracks, some doing double takes, before exclaiming, "Is that a dog?" It was easy to see why they might think so. With his colossal frame and long, luxurious fur, Kafia resembled a furry white lion striding confidently down the street. His coat, still as snow-white as the day Julia had first seen him, glistened under the sunlight, giving him a mystical aura that turned heads wherever he went. For Julia, Kafia was more than just a pet. He was a beloved companion and a source of endless wonder. His size and gentle nature brought joy to her and those around them. Children from the neighborhood would giggle and marvel at Kafia, often asking if they could pet the big cat. Even adults couldn't resist the allure of Kafia's unique charm, snapping photos and asking Julia about her extraordinary cat. Despite his immense size, Kafia's personality remained sweet and gentle. He loved snuggling with Julia, following her around the house, and lounging in the sun-filled spots by the window. His large paws and soft, almost human-like gaze only added to his endearing nature, making him a true member of Julia's family. His story became a local legend, and photos of Kafia circulated on social media, where people from all over marveled at the giant white Maine Coon from Stary Sokol. In the end, what began as a simple decision to adopt a kitten had transformed Julia's life in ways she could never have anticipated. Kafia was a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected additions to our lives leave the greatest impact, bringing wonder, joy, and a touch of magic to our everyday world. Julia couldn't help but marvel at Kafia's size, wondering just how big her Maine Coon might get. She'd learned that Maine Coons continue growing until they're 3, which meant Kafia still had over a year of growth ahead. A question began to form in her mind. Could Kafia end up being the largest Maine Coon in Russia? Perhaps even the world? Thoughts of Guinness World Records drifted into her imagination, and she couldn't help but envision her beloved cat making history. Yet, despite his impressive size and local fame, Kafia remained her sweet, loyal companion. One thing was certain, Kafia had a hearty appetite, though he was selective about his meals. While most cats were content with standard dry food, Kafia had a preference for a high-protein, meat-rich diet. This was fitting, as Maine Coons are often described as gentle giants with a natural inclination toward hearty, protein-based foods. Kafia loved nothing more than sinking his teeth into a juicy piece of meat, and his discerning tastes only added to his unique personality. Beyond his diet, it was Kafia's affectionate, gentle nature that truly made him special to Julia. He was more than just an extraordinary cat. He was her cherished friend, a constant presence in her life who brought joy and wonder with each day. Despite Kafia's impressive size, he had a surprisingly quiet, soft cry. a voice gentle and barely louder than a whisper, which seemed more fitting for a kitten than the massive, majestic Maine Coon he had become. Julia often joked that Kafia's soft meow added to his charm, making him seem almost shy despite his lion-like appearance. His calm and affectionate demeanor made him an instant favorite with everyone he met. Neighbors who first mistook him for a dog quickly fell in love with his gentle personality. Children would eagerly run up to pet him, and Kafia would sit patiently, soaking up the attention and even nuzzling up to anyone who offered a scratch behind his ears. With Kafia's impressive size came a few unique challenges, especially at bedtime. As a kitten, he had developed the adorable habit of curling up on Julia as she lay down for the night. Back then, his tiny body was light and easy to accommodate. But as he grew, bedtime became a little more complicated. Now, with 27.5 pounds of fluffy bulk, Kafia's nightly cuddle routine was no small feat. It was nearly impossible for Julia to get comfortable when Kafia decided to stretch out on her, his thick, snowy fur blanketing her like a warm, living pillow. She would chuckle softly, brushing aside his fur and gently nudging him to the side. Yet even with his size, Kafia always managed to snuggle up close to Julia, purring contentedly as he drifted off to sleep. His presence was comforting, and she treasured these quiet moments of connection. Living with Kafia also meant dealing with his endless shedding, a common trait of Maine Coons with their luxurious, long coats. As beautiful as his fur was, it had a way of floating through the air, sticking to every surface and settling in places Julia hadn't even thought to clean. His snowy white hairs would cover her furniture, cling to her clothes, and even gather in corners she missed during her cleaning routine. Julia often joked with friends about her winter wonderland of white fur and proudly showed off her lint roller collection, which had become an essential part of her household toolkit. No matter how much Kafia shed, Julia adored his coat and appreciated the warmth it provided, especially during Russia's long, cold winters. Despite these small inconveniences, Kafia was a beloved member of Julia's life, bringing joy, laughter, and a touch of magic into her everyday world. His quirks and habits made him unique, and Julia found herself looking forward to each day with him, knowing he would bring some new and endearing moment. His gentle, oversized presence filled her home with warmth and companionship, reminding her that sometimes life's greatest treasures come in the most unexpected forms. Kafia was more than just a pet. He was her loyal friend, a gentle giant whose quiet purrs and soft cries became the background music to her days. While Kafia thrived on affection and loved being close to Julia, he also had a fiercely independent side. He was rarely still, often shadowing her as she moved around the house, his curiosity never seeming to wane. Whether she was cooking in the kitchen or simply brushing her teeth, Kafia would be right there, observing her every move with attentive eyes. This habit began when he was just 6 months old, already larger than most domestic cats. It became a running joke in the household that Kafia was Julia's silent guardian, always nearby, watching her with quiet loyalty. Then there was Tihan, another extraordinary Maine Coon who brought his own charm to the household. Tihan was as unique as his name, which comes from the Russian word for quiet, and he lived up to it, being a calm, gentle soul. But it was his striking eyes, one a deep blue, the other a warm chestnut, that truly set him apart. Anyone who met Tihan couldn't help but be captivated by his mismatched gaze. He, too, had the Maine Coon's massive build, and at just 3 years old, he was still growing, giving Julia hope that he and Kafia might become the largest Maine Coons in Russia. Tihan shared Kafia's affectionate nature, though his way of showing love was even more endearing. Each evening, like clockwork, Tihan would wait patiently by the door, anticipating his family's return. The moment he heard the sound of keys jingling, he would bound toward the door, ready to greet them. With a joyful leap, Tihan would wrap his large, fluffy body around them in a heartfelt embrace, purring deeply as he nestled into their arms. These moments were precious to Julia, who felt Tihan's warmth and love with every snuggle, his silky fur adding comfort to her day. Both Kafia and Tihan brought a unique magic to Julia's life. While Kafia was her loyal shadow, always curious and attentive, Tihan was her gentle, affectionate greeter, bringing warmth and joy with each embrace. Together, they filled her days with laughter, love, and a reminder that the best companions often come with a little extra fluff and a lot of heart. Despite their imposing size, Kafia and Tihan were true gentle giants, their impressive appearance masking their sweet and humble personalities. This unique blend of stature and temperament captivated everyone who met them. When visitors first saw the massive cats, they often felt intimidated, but any initial hesitation quickly faded as Kafia and Tihan charmed them with their calm, friendly demeanor. Maine Coons are known for their large, muscular frames, strong bones, and thick, long fur, which gives them an almost regal appearance. These cats seem to exude power and strength, yet their gentle natures create a beautiful contrast. It's this remarkable combination that has made Maine Coons one of the world's most beloved cat breeds, and Kafia and Tihan were no exceptions. For Julia, life without her two gentle giants was unimaginable. They filled her days with joy and comfort, offering companionship like no other. As Kafia continued to grow, Julia decided to document his journey. She captured moments of him lounging on the couch, taking neighborhood strolls, and curling up in her lap as much as his 27.5-pound frame would allow. Before long, Kafia had attracted a devoted following online, with fans worldwide captivated by his extraordinary size and endearing personality. Messages poured in from fellow cat lovers who eagerly awaited updates on Kafia's growth, some even wondering if he might challenge the Guinness World Record for the largest cat. Kafia and Tihan had become more than pets. They were companions who brought laughter, warmth, and a touch of awe to Julia's everyday life. Through their online presence, they spread joy far beyond the walls of Julia's home, showing that even the most powerful-looking creatures can have the gentlest of hearts. Blissfully unaware of his rising fame, Kafia continued his simple, joyful routine, following Julia from room to room, brushing up against her for cuddles, and waiting eagerly for his favorite meat treats. For Kafia, life was perfect as long as he was near his beloved owner. His soft purrs filled the quiet spaces in Julia's day, a comforting reminder of their connection. Sometimes, she'd find herself wondering just how much bigger he would grow, but the thought never overshadowed her appreciation for the joy he brought to her life. Kafia's remarkable size, gentle nature, and steadfast affection made him truly one of a kind, and Julia treasured every moment with him. As Kafia's story spread, curiosity about Maine Coons grew, and people were fascinated to learn more about the breed's unique characteristics. Many were surprised to discover just how large Maine Coons could get, and even more so, how affectionate and loyal they were to their families. Julia's inbox was soon filled with questions from other cat lovers asking for tips on caring for such extraordinary felines. She happily shared her insights, explaining that a high-protein diet, plenty of playtime, and above all, an endless supply of love and attention were essential. Julia's advice emphasized how caring for Maine Coons was as much about emotional connection as it was about physical care. To her, Kafia and Tihan weren't just pets. They were family members who filled her life with joy, laughter, and companionship. The future for Kafia seemed to hold endless possibilities. As he continued to grow, whispers about records and potential fame grew louder. Would he one day hold the title for the largest Maine Coon? Perhaps. But for Julia, the prospect of setting records was merely a background thought. What truly mattered to her was that Kafia was happy, healthy, and by her side, bringing warmth and comfort to each day. In her eyes, his steady presence and boundless affection were the real achievements. Every quiet moment they shared was a testament to the bond they had built over time, a bond that only grew stronger as he did. In the years ahead, Julia knew that Cafia's size and growing fame might continue to attract attention, but she also understood that no amount of fame could compare to the happiness he brought her. When Cafia sprawled across her lap, purring softly, Julia often found herself smiling, reflecting on how much her life had changed since he had come into it. Whether recognized or not, Cafia was her cherished companion, a gentle giant with a heart as vast as his size. For Julia, Cafia's happiness and well-being were the true rewards. Each day, as he followed her around the house, nudging her for attention or curling up at her side, she felt deeply grateful for the bond they shared. It was a connection built on trust, comfort, and mutual affection, one that brought quiet joy to her life. To Julia, Cafia was a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful relationships come in the simplest, most unassuming ways.